This is day 2 of 2.7 piecewise functions. We're going to start off with a warm-up on transformations. Given the parent function is the square root of x, identify all transformations of y equals square root of x plus 2 minus 5. Go ahead and hit pause, see if you can identify those, and then check your work. Here we have a plus 2 on the inside, which is our h value, always the opposite. So we're going to go left 2. And then negative 5 is our k value on the outside. It tells us to go down 5. All right, let's try getting back into piecewise functions here. Here's our piecewise function. Go ahead and hit pause so you can write it down, try it, similar to what we did in part 1. And come back and check, or to get some hints if you get stuck. All right, so this first top graph here is a cube root. And just like we did in part 1, we always kind of want to think about what that is supposed to look like when we graph it. Cube roots are the Cleopatra, so they are the ones that kind of curve sideways. And for our table, it tells us that we want to have values that are less than 2. So we're going to be starting at 2. And that's going to be an open circle because it's just a less than. So we want to find some values. 2, 1, 0. But this plus 2 tells us we will move to the left 2. So my actual kind of middle center point would be at negative 2. So it probably makes sense to do a few more, or maybe even count by 2s here, going down instead of by 1s, because I think it's going to be important for us to have that negative 2 on our graph. So we go and find those values. We get 1.6, 1.4, 1.3. You can see all of those are really close together, so they really wouldn't tell us much of the shape, most likely. So we get down here, 1, 0, negative 1. And then we want to go and look at our second function, which is just a 3. So that's kind of strange. That means it's the equation y equals 3, which happens to be a horizontal line. Okay, so it's linear, but it'll just be a line that's going horizontally. Horizontally is left to right. So you can make a table. But every value that you graph is going to have a y value of 3. So it tells us to start at 2 with a closed circle. And so 2 is going to have a y value of 3. Now once value is greater than 2, so 2, 3, 4, 5. But every y value is just going to be 3. 3, 3, 3, 3, all the way down. All right, so let's graph these. 2, 1.6. About right there with an open circle. 1, 1.4, 0, 1.3. Very hard to tell the difference of those. Negative 1, 1. Still pretty close. Negative 2, 0. Negative 3, negative 1. Then we can start to see that curve we were looking for the Cleopatra. So curve it, heading that way. And then when we go to graph our horizontal line, let's see, we have 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3. You can see they're all making that horizontal line, but instead of having arrows both directions, you're only going to have an arrow heading to the right because it had to be greater than 2. All right, domain and range. I kind of ran into my domain and range area, so we will just put them over here. Domain goes from negative infinity all the way to positive infinity. And range, let's see. This one looks like it's going just to the left, but it's also going down at the same time. So this is actually going towards negative infinity all the way up to, there's nothing up here at all. So this is going to stop us at 3. So negative infinity to 3. And that's all.